My dad left everything in his will to my brother after I took care of him alone for 6 years, and I'm so angry. For 6 long years, I put my life on hold for my dad. I truly loved him. This isn't just about money. I thought he was my best friend. 6 years ago, my parents were in a devastating car accident. My mom died, and my dad became paralyzed from the neck down. I was just 22, fresh out of college, while my brother was 33, married and raising 3 kids. At first, we had a home nurse, but after a troubling incident, Dad lost trust in them. He asked me to care for him, promising to provide for me. I accepted because I loved him and felt a sense of obligation. Those 6 years were filled with sacrifice. Sometimes my brother and sister-in-law would come to give me a break, but it always felt like they were doing me a huge favor. A few weeks ago, Dad had a stroke and passed away in his sleep. It was devastating. Just days later, I discovered he left everything to my brother, except for a few sentimental items for me. His reasoning? He had provided for me for the last 6 years and believed my brother needed it more because he had a family to support. Now, my brother refuses to share anything with me. I can't contest the will, since I did receive some items. I'm overwhelmed with frustration and sadness. I spent my entire 20s caring for Dad, helping him with everything, and now I feel betrayed. He left the house to my brother, who is kicking me out in a week and a half. I have nowhere to go. I have no work experience and can't even find minimum wage jobs. I've applied to over 60 places, and nothing has come through. I loved my dad, but right now, I'm so angry at him. He changed my life in ways I never imagined. I do effective work for about 30 minutes a week. The rest of the time, I just handle my house chores. I've been working on a tech project for over 3 years. In the beginning, I put in my best effort, working diligently from 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. Since it was always remote, no one could really see what I was doing. About a year and a half in, I received a small raise, but it became clear that I wouldn't be getting another anytime soon. So, I found myself stuck with that paycheck, unless I decided to leave for a new job. By the second year, I lost my enthusiasm and started doing the bare minimum. I quickly learned to work as slowly as possible, only speeding up when something was urgent. During performance reviews, I received great feedback because a little I did well. I estimate I only engage in real work for about 30 minutes each week. At first, I felt guilty, but now I'm indifferent. I'm honestly surprised they haven't let me go yet. I know I'm not alone in this. Others in my position feel the same way. Many of us have become unmotivated, especially since the company doesn't adjust for inflation. If I sought another job that I actually enjoyed, I would earn significantly less. My skills are fine, they're just underutilized now. I've witnessed 2 massive layoffs during my time here, with talented coworkers let go simply because they earned more than I do. I often think I should have been the one to go. It's a strange feeling, knowing that I could easily be replaced by someone else.
If a woman says she doesn't want kids or tries to avoid that conversation, the best answer is for you to just listen and not debate it. I'm so tired of this. I'm tired of people asking me if and when I will have kids. I really don't want to have kids. Why is that so hard to understand? I'm exhausted by the same old responses. You're still young. You'll change your mind. I used to feel the same way, but now I'm happy with kids. Or your partner will get tired of you without kids. Well, that's not fair. If I regret it, that's my issue, not yours. If my partner gets tired of me, again, that's my problem. How hard is it to grasp that some women don't dream of becoming mothers? Some of us feel complete without children. Please stop pretending you know my wishes and dreams better than I do. I think it's perfectly okay for a woman to want to be a mother, just as it is for her not to want that. If a woman says, I don't want kids, or hints that motherhood isn't for her, just listen. Some women don't want kids, and some can't have them. Either way, it's not your business to open that conversation. I was going to tell him it was me who did it, but now I don't think I can. My boyfriend had a rough day at work. He got in trouble over something minor, and his boss blew it way out of proportion. The way his boss treated him was mean and insulting, especially for such a simple mistake. When he called me later, I could hear the discouragement in his voice. He was embarrassed and said he didn't even want the promotion they were training him for anymore. It broke my heart because he has worked so hard for that company, often doing the job of 2 or 3 people by himself. Hearing him like this made me sad. He loves his work, but that day they really tore him down. I have a few aliases I've built over the years, and in a moment of impulse, I decided to use one to leave a 5-star review on his company's page. I wrote that it was my first time at the location and how impressed I was with the work. I mentioned how talented and reliable he is, and how great the turnaround time was. To keep it from sounding like me, I even wrote it in French. I figured they could translate it easily. I wanted his bosses to see how valuable he truly is. Hours later, he texted me a screenshot of the review, saying, "Look, babe." That night, he was almost in tears, saying how good it felt to be appreciated. It gave him hope and perseverance. In that moment, I realized it meant more to him than it ever would to his bosses. Maybe one day I'll tell him the truth, but for now, I don't think I can.
I lied to get revenge on a rude passenger, and when I walk around, I still think about it. I have a little secret I've never shared with anyone. It might sound silly or even amusing, but it weighs heavily on my conscience. I travel frequently, sometimes for work, sometimes for leisure. I fly so often that I occasionally recognize the same flight attendants. They probably don't remember me, but that's not what matters. One day, while waiting to board, I noticed a middle-aged woman aggressively pushing her way through the queue, insisting she was first. Picture this: fake blonde hair, designer bags, chin held high, shoving people aside without a word of apology. It wasn't the first time I'd seen such entitlement, but what really struck me was when she used her foot to nudge a child out of her way, treating him like an object. That moment stuck with me. Fast forward to boarding the plane. Guess who was sitting in the window seat I had specifically paid for? I didn't want to create a scene, but I calmly informed the flight attendant that she was in my seat, and the woman was being difficult. Before the attendant could respond, the woman erupted, accusing me of lying and shouting that she was there first. I just stood there, letting her dig her own grave. She escalated, insulting the flight attendant and making threats. In the end, she was escorted off the plane, and people actually clapped. But here's the truth. I lied. I never interacted with her. I just wanted a small, petty bit of revenge for how she treated that child. Now, I can't stop thinking about it. I know everyone has bad days. Maybe she was going through something tough, but because of me she missed her flight, and I know she had to wait 2 whole days for the next one. I don't want sympathy or validation. I just needed to share this. Maybe now, when I walk around thinking about it, I'll feel a little lighter.
She clung to my arm while her girlfriend spat at me. I stayed. Last night I was selling shirts at a concert. On my way to the car, I passed by a couple fighting. At first, I didn't think much of it, until I saw one girl crying and yelling, "Leave me alone," to her partner. She was sobbing, and it broke my heart. I got closer and asked, "Are you okay?" That's when I realized it was a lesbian couple. The more masculine one was being aggressive, saying awful things to her. Then she turned her anger toward me, hurling insults and even spitting on the ground in my direction. I told her, "You're a girl. She's a girl too. Treat her better." That set her off. But I didn't leave. The girl in distress clung to my arm, crying and apologizing. I kept repeating, "You're okay. I got you. It's okay." Then some other girls walked by, saw what was happening, and confronted the aggressive one. Things escalated into an actual fight. I stayed by the crying girl, talking to her, trying to comfort her. She called her brother, and soon the police arrived. I remained until she was safe. One of the girls who helped me said, "Thank you for standing by her. That was really cool." We talked for a bit. She asked for my Instagram and called me cute several times, giving me 3 hugs. I guess that was nice, but honestly, I can't stop thinking about the girl who was crying. I can't shake the feeling of how unfair it is that someone so reckless and controlling has a girl that pretty, that soft, that fragile. She deserved love, not humiliation. Maybe I was jealous. I would have protected her. I wouldn't have made her cry like that. I didn't get her number or ask for anything. I just didn't want to leave her alone. I hope she's okay. I hope she left her. And I hope, even if just for a moment, she felt safe with me.
My father has been my biggest bully for 29 years. Tonight he tried to punch me, and I finally realized he's just a sad, weak old man. I'm a 29-year-old guy. I'm fit. I run ultra marathons, and I'm sober. My whole life has felt like walking on eggshells around my father. He fights with everyone, his brother, his friends, his coworkers. He has physically abused me in the past, hitting me when I was a kid. But it's not just the aggression. It's the neglect. In 29 years, we have never had a single one-on-one father-son conversation. Not once. Whenever I try to speak to him, even about everyday things, he shuts me down, refusing to make eye contact. Because of this, I stopped seeing him as a father long ago. To me, he's just a stranger I live with. Tonight, the power went out because the cats tripped over a wire. It was an accident. My father, who is very sick and physically weak, went into a rage. He started screaming at my sister and me, demanding we go out at midnight to buy an extension cord. I tried to de-escalate, telling him to calm down, but he got in my face and then tried to punch me. In the past, I would have cowered, but tonight, something switched. I didn't punch him back, but I pushed him away to protect myself. Because he is weak, he fell down. I expected to feel horror or guilt. Instead, I felt nothing. Actually, I felt good. I realized I wasn't scared of him anymore. I looked at him on the floor and asked, "It's been so long since you've been like this. What kind of father are you?" He looked at me and simply said, "So what?" He told me to leave his house. My mom and sister urged me to go, just to let things cool down. I walked out but eventually came back in, to sleep, because I have nowhere else to go. He is hiding in his room now, silent. I think he realized that the physical intimidation he used for 29 years has finally expired. He knows I could hurt him if I wanted to, and he knows I saw him fall. The monster in my head is gone. He's just a bitter landlord now.
I keep getting promoted over my genius coworker because I'm a yes man, and I feel like a fraud. This morning, I was just bumped up to a senior manager role. My salary is going up significantly, and I should be celebrating. But instead, I feel like I'm robbing the company blind. There's a guy on my team, let's call him Dave. Dave is brilliant. He knows our systems inside and out. If the servers crash at 2 a.m., it's Dave who fixes it. When a client asks a technical question that leaves everyone stumped, Dave has the answer. He is objectively better at the job than I am. I find myself Googling basic information or asking for help with my SQL queries, but Dave is considered difficult. He corrects the VP in meetings when she misuses terminology. He sighs loudly when people ask questions that seem obvious to him. He refuses to turn his camera on during Zoom calls because he thinks it's pointless. He has boundaries. Me? I have none. I'm just a corporate actor. When the boss suggests an impossible timeline, Dave says it's unrealistic. I say, that's ambitious. Let's see how we can align our resources. When a client sends a harsh email, Dave stands his ground. I apologize and thank them for their feedback, even when they're wrong. I spend most of my week smoothing things over and managing vibes. I reply to emails within 5 minutes, even if I don't have the answer, just to say, I'm on it. I laugh at the director's jokes no matter how bad they are. I even bring in donuts. Now I'm Dave's boss. He looked so defeated when the announcement went out. He's been here 3 years longer than I have. I know he sees me as an empty suit who just plays the game. And he's completely right. I feel guilty, because I know the company needs Dave more than they need me. They treat him like a necessary evil, while they celebrate me as a rock star, simply because I'm pleasant to be around. I can't shake the feeling that one day everyone will realize I don't actually know what I'm doing. Until then, I guess I'll just keep smiling and circling back.
My child's critical scan was canceled before we even left Brooklyn, and I am beyond angry. Right now, I feel like I'm seething. My daughter is just 7 years old and recovering from surgery to remove a tumor. Today, she had a critical CT scan scheduled that required sedation. This appointment took 3 weeks to secure, which is rare since these scans are usually fully booked. It was essential follow-up care after her cancer surgery, not something optional or routine. We rely on a medical car service we've used exclusively for over a year. Last week, a moderate snowstorm hit, and the city is still dealing with leftover snow and slower road conditions. The car service told us the driver was 3 minutes away, but we waited outside in the cold for over 20 minutes with my very sleepy child before the car finally arrived. They were over half an hour late. We weren't even out of Brooklyn when the hospital called to cancel the scan. I nearly cried in the car, but I swallowed it because my daughter was sitting right next to me. She doesn't need to see her parent fall apart when she's the one trying to heal. During the drive, the driver was unapologetic, blasting music and texting while driving. I noticed the lack of basic safety precautions, but stayed quiet. My daughter is only 7, and I was genuinely afraid that saying something would distract the driver further or cause an accident, and we didn't even get the chance to make it there. I called the car service immediately, firm and clear about how badly they failed us. The driver lied about the estimated arrival time, and their negligence cost my child a medically necessary appointment that took weeks to secure. Right now, we don't even have a new date. We're waiting for scheduling to contact us. That uncertainty is what hurts the most. I did everything right. I planned, I prepared, and I showed up for my child. Because of someone else's carelessness in communication, timing, and safety, we're left waiting again, with no answers. I just needed to say this somewhere. I'm not falling apart. I'm just exhausted and helpless. All I want is for my child to be healthy, so we can finally move forward.
The man baby is finally facing the music. My brother is 31 years old, and in all that time, he hasn't had to lift a finger to meet any of his needs. He dropped out of college after less than half a semester because he couldn't manage to get out of bed before noon. He's worked a total of 2.5 months in his entire life. He lost his first job at a fast food restaurant for yelling at a customer, and the second one for stealing from the register. For the last 8 years, he's rolled out of bed at 2 p.m., doing nothing but playing video games and searching for others just as lost as he is. He's an annoying, self-centered person who would throw our parents under the bus for a fleeting thrill. My parents have always tried their best. They gave us everything we needed, and then some. For my 2 siblings and me, their support led to success in school, good jobs, and a solid start to adulthood. I wish I could commend them for their efforts, but they've allowed my brother to remain in a childish state for far too long. Now, they're left with an overgrown toddler who spends his days in the attic, playing games, and cursing at my mom when she asks him to clean up his mess. Last year, Dad had a stroke. He now requires 24-hour care, and Mom is completely burnt out. She retired to take care of him, and it's put a strain on their relationship that years of marriage couldn't have prepared them for. Meanwhile, my brother demands dinner while shouting at teenagers online. My siblings and I have been discussing solutions for months. At the beginning of the month, we decided Dad would go to a care center. Mom plans to sell the house and move to a community nearby. And we hope my brother will find a place with an internet connection. My parents have always protected him, but the stroke finally opened their eyes to the reality of the situation. It's painful to admit, but we're all tired of him. None of us care what happens to him anymore. And it's striking to say that out loud. Yesterday, I was there when he got the news. Mom will be living with my sister until the house sells, and Dad is going to the care center next week. The eviction process has already begun. His reaction was something to behold. He stomped his feet and screamed that it wasn't fair. He threatened to sue us and even yelled at an elderly man, demanding to know how we would help him find a place to live. He still doesn't grasp the reality he's facing. Now he's not speaking to our parents, locked away in his room, only coming out to grab food from the pantry. My brother is staying there to keep an eye on him and update us on his tantrums. I'm looking forward to the next month. It feels like the best reality show I've seen in a long time. As a quick update, he hasn't gotten violent, thankfully, but he's made life difficult for everyone. He claims to have found a place to live and says he'll be out by the end of the month. My addict dad spent my entire future on a 3-day bender and my mom is defending him. I'm staring at my phone screen right now, feeling like I'm about to black out. My vision is blurring, and I'm shaking so hard I can barely type this. I want to scream until my lungs give out. I've been planning this for 2 years. 2 years of working double shifts, skipping meals, and not buying a single thing for myself. All of it was to finally escape this hellhole. I'm 19, and I was supposed to leave for my study abroad program in just 10 days. My bags are packed, and I've already paid my tuition. I even had a side job lined up at a cafe over there to help me survive while studying. This was my exit, my one chance to breathe without looking over my shoulder every time I heard a door open. But now, it's gone. I checked my banking app this morning to send the deposit for my student housing, the final step, and my balance was just $12. There was over 1,000 in there 3 days ago. I thought that because I turned 18 last year, my account was private, but since my dad helped me open it when I was 16, he still had access. I went downstairs, and he was passed out on the couch, smelling like a brewery and who knows what else. He spent my entire future on a 3-day bender, my hard-earned money gone in 48 hours so he could stay high for a weekend. I went to my mom, crying and begging her to help me, or at least tell me he'd pay it back. She just looked at me with that tired face and told me to stop being so dramatic. Your father is sick, she said. He didn't mean to do it. He was just in a bad place. Sick, he stole from his son. He knew that money was for my housing. He knew if I didn't pay it by Friday, I'd lose my spot in the program and the job I had waiting for me. He literally sabotaged my entire life. And she's in the kitchen making him coffee, like he didn't just commit a crime. She'd rather see me rot in this house with them than admit her husband is a thief and a loser. I have no one to ask for help. No grandparents, no aunts, no friends with that kind of money to loan a 19-year-old. I'm completely stuck. I work so hard. I did everything right. I stayed out of trouble, got the grades, saved every penny, and it didn't even matter. Now I'm sitting in my room, looking at my suitcase, feeling a hate I've never known. I hate him. I hate her for letting him do this. I hate that I'm 19, and my life feels over before it even started because I was born into this family. I have to email the program and tell them I can't come. I have to tell the cafe manager I'm not coming. I have to stay here in this room, hearing him stumble around and hearing her make excuses for him while I try to figure out how to get $5 for lunch. I feel like I'm suffocating. I can't do this anymore. I called CPS on my own sister, and I still lie to her about it. It was around 2 a.m. in a duplex in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. And my nephew was screaming again. He's just 3, but he doesn't cry like a normal child. He screams as if he's in pain. The walls are thin, the floor sticky, and my sister insisted she had everything under control. But I knew better. She has always been a whirlwind. Different fathers, different apartments, different jobs. I believe she loves her child, but love doesn't always mean safety. That night I went over because she wasn't answering her phone. I found him in a dirty diaper, with a rash that was bleeding, sitting in a playpen with a tablet blaring. She was passed out on the couch, not from drugs, just drunk. Again. I cleaned him up and put him to bed. When I woke her, she started crying, saying she was trying, that she was tired, that I didn't understand how hard it was. Here's the part I've never admitted. The next morning, from my car outside a gas station, I called CPS. I didn't warn her. I didn't give her another chance. I listed everything. Her drinking, the neglect, the bruises she claimed were from him being clumsy. My hands were shaking, but my voice was steady. 2 weeks later, they showed up for an investigation, classes, random visits. She was hysterical, convinced someone was trying to ruin her life. First, she suspected her ex, then a neighbor. She never suspected me. Things are technically better now. The apartment is cleaner, and she's cut back on drinking, because she's scared of losing him. She vents to me about how violated she feels, how whoever called is a snake, how family would never do that. I sit there and nod. Sometimes my nephew runs up to me and hubs my legs, and I feel like I did the right thing. Other times, I see my sister's face when she talks about betrayal, and I feel like absolute trash. But I didn't punish her. I did it because I was scared that one day I would walk in and it would be too late. Yet, I still look into her eyes and say I have no idea who would do something like that.